Can everybody hear me? Growing up, my sister did a lot of things that just used to bug the crap out of me. For whatever reason, she always had this knack for sticking her nose where it didn't belong, and she always had a knack for lying, but she just wouldn't call it lying. She would explain that she just didn't tell the truth. My mother, ever so protective over my younger siblings, would always say, "That's what younger sisters do." And someday we'll all look back on all those times and laugh. I really believe that's a standard line all parents use just to stop siblings from fighting, and for the most part, after a heated exchange, it worked. But there was one incident that really stands out in my mind. I was 12 years old, and my sister was 10. She was in her bedroom, and I was in mine, directly across the hall from one another. She began yelling at me in a very mocking and provocative manner, and of course, I began to yell back. Back and forth it went, and she always knew how to rile me up really good. So I went towards her room, and I was steaming. I had approached her room. I had not even gotten close enough to reach her with a broomstick, and down she goes like she was shot. She is screaming and crying and carrying on, and she's crying real tears because she could really make herself do that. My mother hears the commotion and comes running up the stairs. She cries to my mother, "Mom, he hit me down here," pointing to her crotch. My mother takes her into the bathroom and examines her down under. And as my mother exits the bathroom, she grabs my wiffle ball bat and cracks me over the hand and says, "I told you not to hit girls, and if you do get into a situation, certainly don't hit girls down there." I tried to explain and countered with, "But I didn't even touch her." Crack. Mom hits me again with the bat and says, "That's for lying." I checked, and she's all red down there. Now, I thought, of course she is red down there. She was pressing her hand down there for so long until you got up here. I figured, are you stupid? Can't you see that? But I didn't dare even say that out loud. My parents never hit us, so I knew that this time my mother meant business. But no sooner did my mother head back downstairs, my sister changed from tears to laughter and chanted, "Nya, nya, 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 you got in trouble, you got in trouble, nya, 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 nya." Of course, I didn't realize it back then, but I just had my first foray into experiences of false accusations of domestic violence at age 12. I know that could be construed as an exaggeration, but as a microcosm of what my life would turn into nearly 30 years later, when the stakes would be much, much greater. The far-reaching aftershocks of false allegations of domestic violence are devastating. It sends waves of destruction through the lives of everyone involved, ultimately destroying even a divided family unit. Thanks to false allegations of domestic violence made by my ex-wife, my life was turned completely upside down. It did not matter that I did absolutely nothing wrong and that my ex-wife was lying. The mere fact that she made the claim was damage enough. Most people are under the misconception that you're innocent until proven guilty. Well, it's just not the case when it comes to domestic violence. Murderers and drug dealers are given more rights. During the whole ordeal, I was verbally abused and threatened by a judge, verbally and physically accosted by police officers, criticized by Division of Youth and Family Service workers, shown the door by school officials, and even turned away by some lifelong friends. Of course, along with the allegations came the restraining order. Most people would be forcibly removed from their home under those circumstances. Thankfully, I was already out of the home and actually already remarried, but there was still collateral damage. The restraining order forced me to voluntarily relinquish my ability to earn a living. As a commodities trader, I was not permitted by the Securities and Exchange Commission and the Commodities Futures Trading Commission to be an active member of any trading exchange. I had to defend myself, so I had to hire an attorney. That takes money. In fact, that takes a lot of money. So no income coming in and a lot of money going out. That's a bad recipe, especially when you have just gotten into a new marriage. The hardest part of all was having my rights as a father taken away from me. Because once the allegations of DV were made, the courts then decided to best interest investigation into the custody of the children. And while that was going on, I had all kinds of restraints on me regarding even the simplest communications with my children. The children, of course, that is where the collateral damage often hits hardest, because therein lies great opportunity for what else? The groundwork for parental alienation. When one is attacked with false allegations of domestic violence, they're forced into a battle on a number of different fronts, and the battles can often seem insurmountable and unsurvivable. I went from being a well-to-do commodities trader worth millions of dollars to a schnook standing on the welfare line. My second marriage was destroyed, and my reputation was terminated. I had been a successful high school sports coach, coaching women. I won a state championship for field hockey and was even given an award by the governor's office for praiseworthy determination and spirit. However, once someone leaked the story of allegations to the school district's administrators, I was then banished. I've often thought to myself, is there no justice in the world? That is something I would be muttering to myself time and time again, because one is often left to wonder, is there any justice in the world? And for anyone who has ever been thrown into the family court system, the word justice may as well be a four-letter word. For there is no other court in the land where the penalty for perjury simply does not exist. You can lie your ass off and not only be not punished for it, but actually be rewarded for it. There's no other court where you're presumed guilty until proven innocent. And for non-custodial parents, especially fathers, families going through a divorce and the never-ending litany of custody issues and all the rest that goes with it, it can feel like eternal damnation. When I was at the University of Miami, my baseball coach used to say, don't get too comfortable. It is but a short drop from the penthouse to the shithouse. And just one accusation of domestic violence and the ensuing trek through the family court system can do just that. Throw you right into the shithouse. That's if you're lucky. Even the shithouse is better than sitting in county lockup for a weekend. One day you're sitting on top of the world, nice house, nice cars, lots of friends. Then one day you're sitting there thinking, where did it all go? And how did I get here? What did I do to deserve this? The horrors of being the falsely accused and being thrust into the perils of eternal damnation, better known as the family court system. Thank you very much and good luck to all of you.
Attorney in New Jersey. He's the author of the article, The New Star Chamber,